It's been 6 years since Skyrim's release, and fans have been anxiously awaiting for its sequel ever since. And with the recent announcement of Elder Scrolls 6 at E3, people are going crazy with speculation. Hi, I'm Jetset, and this is Elder Scrolls 6: Rumors, Hopes, and Dreams. For more game news and rumors, be sure to click that bell icon to become part of the notification squad, or go ahead and subscribe to the leaderboard. Development history. First off, any good game rumor starts with some understanding of a game's development. So here's a quick Elder Scrolls history lesson. Before the Elder Scrolls, Bethesda mostly developed sports games. In 1994, however, they began development of the Elder Scrolls Arena, their first epic single-player game. But in the beginning, Arena was initially a gladiator-style multiplayer game with players fighting their way through the world to become the grand champion. Through testing, it was revealed that Arena's side quests were much more fun than the combat, and so the gladiator idea was dropped. Instead, Bethesda pivoted into developing a full pen and paper inspired open world RPG. Thus, our version of the Elder Scrolls was born. Still, in comparison to later titles in the series, Arena had a pretty small open world.
After the release of Arena, Bethesda immediately began development on the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall.
This second game hit the shelves on August 31st, 1996, and was quickly followed up with development on 3 separate projects. The first two, the Elder Scrolls Legend, Battlespire, and The Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, were released in 1997 and 1998 respectively. The third project was fan favorite The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Being mostly non-procedurally generated, Morrowind took the studio 6 years, or roughly 100 man-years, to develop. The incredibly ambitious third installment was immediately praised for its impressive visuals and vast open world. As far as 2002 standards went, this game was pretty great. Morrowind was also the first Elder Scrolls game to receive DLC. The Elder Scrolls 3 Tribunal and The Elder Scrolls 3 Blood Moon expanded the already huge open world with 2 additional areas. Tribunal and Blood Moon launched in 2002 and 2003 respectively. After Morrowind's initial release on May 1st, 2002, Bethesda began development on The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The fourth game was released in 2006 after 4 years of intense development. It took a lot of work to revamp Morrowind's janky combat system. Oblivion received 2 expansion packs: The Elder Scrolls 4 Knights of the Nine and The Elder Scrolls 4 The Shivering Isles. They launched in 2006 and 2007 respectively. Oblivion received even more critical appraisal than Morrowind due to its graphic and gameplay improvements, though its plotline was a bit more generic. In 2004, development on The Elder Scrolls slowed down a bit as Bethesda took control of the Fallout series from Black Isle Studios. However, in August 2010, studio head Todd Howard revealed that Bethesda had been working on a sequel to Oblivion and that progress on the game was pretty far along. While the game was conceived after Oblivion, the studio had to juggle projects, and thus it didn't enter into its main development stage until after Fallout 3 was released.
That game was The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and it was finally released to PS3, Windows, and Xbox 360 on November 11, 2011.
In 2012, Skyrim received 3 whole DLC expansions: Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn. Skyrim has since been ported to the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and even Amazon's Alexa. More on that later. In May of 2012, Bethesda announced The Elder Scrolls Online, an MMORPG set in, you guessed it, the Elder Scrolls universe. The Elder Scrolls Online, or ESO, was released on April 4th, 2014 for PC and consoles on June 9th, 2015. Shortly after that, on June 14th, 2015, during E3, Bethesda announced The Elder Scrolls Legends, a trading card game set once again in the Elder Scrolls universe. It was later released on March 9th, 2017. E3 2018. In this year's E3, during the Bethesda stage show, it appeared that the fans would once again go without any new Elder Scrolls 6 news. In fact, it even seemed that Todd Howard was purposefully trolling the fans by announcing yet another port of Skyrim, and to Amazon's Alexa of all things. However, in the final moments of the show, Todd Howard finally gave the fans what they wanted and showed a 37-second teaser trailer of The Elder Scrolls 6. Howard revealed that The Elder Scrolls 6 was in fact in pre-production. Although an official release date has not been announced, the 6th installment is not slated for main stage development until after the scheduled release date of Starfield in 2019. Thus, some have speculated that The Elder Scrolls 6 won't be released until at least 2020. rumored setting. In an exclusive interview at E3, Todd Howard revealed that there was a lot of hidden information in the teaser trailer, saying, "There's some things there to pick apart, but we'll let our fans do that." This new challenge sparked a storm of speculation, with fans scrutinizing every single pixel of the new trailer to figure out the setting of the new game. Fans seem to have narrowed down the possibilities to two locations, Hammerfell and High Rock. In the Elder Scrolls universe, Hammerfell is a desert-like land home to the warrior race of the Red Guards, among others. High Rock, on the other hand, is a geographically diverse territory populated mostly by Bretons. While High Rock and Hammerfell have appeared in both the Elder Scrolls Online and Daggerfall, that doesn't mean that they can't appear again in the Elder Scrolls 6. That being said, it seems most likely that the location of the Elder Scrolls 6 will be Hammerfell. Now, before you High Rock fans start rushing toward the comments section, hear me out. At the beginning of the trailer, you can see a massive crater bordering a small structure. This structure is most likely part of Azra's Crossing, a town in Hammerfell that was also featured in the Elder Scrolls Travel's Shadowkey. In the Elder Scrolls mythos, a powerful shadow mage named Azra Nightwielder once lost control of his powers during a battle and blasted a giant crater in the surrounding battleground. A town was later built around the crater and was named Azra's Crossing in commemoration of the event. Still not convinced? Well, you're about to be, because it's time to talk about birds. No, seriously. In the trailer, very distinct white birds can be seen flying towards the ocean. According to the Elder Scrolls Bestiary, there are only two types of white birds. The first are fell-sod terns, birds home only to Solstheim. However, there is absolutely no evidence supporting Solstheim as the new location of the Elder Scrolls 6. That leaves seagulls, the only other type of white bird in Tamriel. Seeing that the white birds are flying toward the ocean, it makes sense that they would be seagulls. And where do seagulls live in Tamriel? That's right, Hammerfell. We gotta give a shout out to YouTuber Camelworks for his excellent detective work on this one. Thanks, yo. In addition to birds and craters, there is just so much more geographic and lore-based evidence supporting Hammerfell as the next setting of the Elder Scrolls series. However, some fans are not convinced. They say that the location of the sun in the trailer makes no sense in relation to where Hammerfell sits in Tamriel. Instead, they say that it's actually the misty landscape of High Rock that will be the new setting. Even if these fans are right about the location of the sun, High Rock is still only half the size of Hammerfell. It really wouldn't make sense for Bethesda to focus on such a small location for one of their biggest upcoming games. However, that doesn't mean that Elder Scrolls 6 can't include both High Rock and Hammerfell. In fact, some have even speculated that the 6th game will encompass all of Tamriel. Wouldn't that be something? I, for one, really wanted to travel to the mystical and hidden continent of Akavir and discover the secrets of the Akaviri tribes, but the E3 trailer all but ensures that the land of Akavir will remain shrouded in mystery. In addition to the setting, fans have a great deal to speculate about, both in terms of the new game's story and timeline. Most people can agree that Skyrim's ending was pretty polarizing depending on which side you choose in the Civil War. This means that the Elder Scrolls 6 could definitely run into some narrative troubles if it's developed as a sequel to Skyrim. On the other hand, it's entirely possible that the game will be set during an earlier point in the Third Empire's timeline. Perhaps it'll go the Elder Scrolls Online route and focus on the Second Era, or it might even jump far past Skyrim and into the Fourth Era. New races. In terms of new races, Sea Elves and Snow Elves definitely have the potential to make it into the next Elder Scrolls. After all, you do encounter the last Snow Elves in Skyrim, not the Falmer sword, if you follow the Falmer questline to its conclusion. Sea Elves are even wandering about in the Elder Scrolls Online, though they aren't playable, so it's possible we might get the option to play as these two. There are also the 4 or 5 potential Akavir races, although these are unlikely. Personally, I'd kind of love to play as a Dremora. Who doesn't want to serve Mehrunes Dagon, after all? Hopes. While new races in a new setting are nearly guaranteed to be on every Elder Scrolls fan's wish list, there are some other more general hopes and dreams for the game. The more technical players might be hoping for a new engine, as the Creation Engine was developed specifically for Skyrim and has been the open world engine Bethesda has used ever since. While it's a great engine, it does have a ton of major bugs, and we'd appreciate a little bit less chaos and a whole lot more performance out of our games in 2018. Please and thank you. like you. Developing a new engine could be a part of the reason why Elder Scrolls 6 has taken so long to be announced. Fans of ESO might want new mounts, because while riding horses is pretty typical for a fantasy game, getting to ride crazy new beasts would be fabulous. After all, Skyrim lets you ride a dragon with the right shout, so why not let us ride saber-toothed tigers or mammoths? Other than sheer sanity, of course. Other players might want more lines of dialogue, as Skyrim only had 60,000 lines of unique dialogue. While that may seem like a lot, it really isn't in a 100-plus hour open-world RPG. There are only so many times you can hear, "I used to be an adventurer like you," or "Skyrim is for the Nords," before you want to tear your hair out. Fallout 4 had nearly double that, with 111,000 unique lines of dialogue. For the Elder Scrolls 6, somewhere in the 120,000 range might be nice. One of the more out there wishes is for a multiplayer mode. However, with the recent announcement of Fallout 76's always online design, it is somewhat possible that we'll get to see the Elder Scrolls 6 Battle Royale mode. On the more plausible side, the Elder Scrolls 6 might come with full VR support, as Fallout 4 and Skyrim both got VR ports. Finally, the one on everyone's list is probably more meaningful side quests. It's something that's plagued every massive open world RPG since Skyrim launched in 2011, and it's a refrain worth repeating. No one enjoys doing 6,000 fetch quests, no matter how much you dress it up with different scenery. So, while it may be a while before Elder Scrolls 6 is released, we do know that we will get it eventually. For now, we'll just have to satisfy ourselves with Skyrim's many ports. I, for one, can't wait to yell "Fusroda" at Alexa a couple thousand times. This has been Jet Set with the Elder Scrolls 6, Rumors, Hopes, and Dreams. Here on the Leaderboard, your home for video game facts.